FstormFur may be the most important update to FStorm since displacement maps. Or something like that. Because FstormFur, Andre just released it a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, and it's just amazing. So I want to just make a super fast fur rug with FstormFur. So I have this scene here, just an old scene. Actually, it was a client scene, but the client kind of pulled out on the project, so, you know, I do what the fuck I want with the scene. So here we have some test renders from the scene. Quite nice. I actually should finish it for my own purposes, but yeah, I don't know. Pretty nice. So in this scene, we'll be playing around a little bit in making a fur. And you may also recognize this scene, by the way, from a couple of images, these images, where I rendered the promo images for the concrete floor that Martin did for Texture Supply a while ago. So anyway, let's get started. I have this scene here. By the way, if you didn't know already, if you have... Shit, this is so hard to navigate this scene. If you're having issues like this, where you have CAD data or just a model with insufficient lines that creates these creases or shadows, you can sit and add a lot of edges, or you can add a turn to mesh and make it, you know, triangle based, or the easier way, just add a weighted normals modifier to it and the issue is gone. So nice. Now if I can just try to navigate this scene, I want to maybe let's see if we can find some nice camera angle here. By the way, if you have any questions about the scene, how it's set up, I can just very quickly show you. Here are the tone mapping settings. I am using the Dennis LUT, but I can change that to the one that I shared on Patreon, just, you know, for the sake of it. So here we have my lookup table instead. Just need to adjust the white balance a little bit. I don't know, maybe like that. So this is pretty good. I want to lower the exposure just a little bit, and also maybe we need to actually correct the kernel exposure too. But anyway, the lighting, I don't even remember. It's a CG source HDR, cloudy sun 48 degrees 0069-02. Looks like this, just a cloudy sun. Looks pretty nice. So anyway, let's make some fur. So the first thing I want to do is just have a plane here. I can just use autogrid because I don't think we are at the center of, or the 0 in z-axis. So let's make this, I don't know, 250 by 250. Can we see it outside the screen there? Yeah, it goes outside the screen. All right, so here we have a what will be a carpet. All right, so I have kind of settled on a camera angle here, and I have my plane here. Now, the first thing you need to know is that when you add an FstormFur to this, the actual geometry of the object will disappear. It will be replaced with the fur. So if you want to make sure that you actually have the plane that the fur is growing on, in case you would see, you know, in between the furs, you need to make a copy of your plane. So let's do that first. And let's add a FstormFur modifier. Now everything here is defaults, and so if I update this now, it will look like shit probably. So if I zoom in here, I'd be surprised if we can see them at all actually. You can see them a little bit here, like these tiny strands. So what I want to do is to first of all increase the amount of hairs to maybe 1 million. Actually, let's do 6 million because I know this is pretty huge carpet. I want to have the roots a bit bigger, so 0.07 is what I used for the rug that I created before. And you can change to have the tips smaller, to have them looking like, you know, normal hairs, but I want to have them like, you know, cut fluffy hairs. This like wool carpet, if you know what I mean. So I want to have the same tip width as the root width. So if we update this now and see what happens. It will take some time because 6 million hairs is quite a lot. All right, so we have them here. It's not looking very good yet, but first of all, I want to have some longer hairs. And the problem we're having right now really is that they're all growing straight up into the air equally. We have some random length here, but we can increase that to 0.7. I don't know if this is like percentage or so. It goes to 1 at maximum, so I don't really know what this value actually is, but let's try 0.7. and see what that looks like. All right, so longer hairs and some more variation in the length. Now to control the hair, an easy way is just to add noise maps to these map slots here. And the difference between direction and bending is that with direction, if you have a plane like this, if you have a hair growing straight up, with direction, you would just change the root angle down here. But with bending, they will still grow up, but they will bend like this. So in this case, I want to use bending. So if I just create a map and noise map, default values, add this to the bending. If I update this now, you will not see much difference at all. And that is because the default value of 0.1 is way too low. So you can't really see much difference at all. So let's try 15. So now we can see it's actually, something is happening here. Looking pretty good. So if I turn this off to see what it looks like, it looks pretty nice. So now we can get to the real magic, and that is to visit a website that I like called carpetvista.com. So in here, let's go to modern carpets and shaggy hand bloom. So this is kind of what I want, with the look that I'm looking for. So let's if you go here now, we found something that you like. Just hover over the image, right click, open image in new tab. And we can save this image as, let's say, carpet 1 on the desktop. And while we're at it, let's just try a few others as well. Let's try that one and that one. So save, let's say we can do like this and save image as carpet 2, and then this one save as carpet, oops, I was a bit too fast, carpet 3. All right, so let's make a material for this one. New material, FStorm, default. Obviously, as always, I want to have a color correction, and I want to have my bitmap, and here I want to look for this one. And I want to crop it because I want to have these white edges. So let's just crop it like that. Enable the crop and apply this material to both planes. All right, not just the hair plane, because if you would see through the hairs, you want to make sure that you have the same color on the bottom as well. So now let's see what happens. And for some reason, oops, I didn't check the right checkbox. So now we have some color to our carpet. Let's play with this a little bit. I think the saturation is a bit too big. I want to have some more contrast, and I want to have a little bit darker. I mean, the saturation is too high, not too big. And as well, I want to copy this. I want to have it in the translucence. And I want to lower the saturation just a little bit. And the translucence is at 1. Maybe that's a bit too high, I don't really know. But now you can see that our carpet is actually looking like a carpet. So actually, you know, you can play around with the values. You can play around with adding different maps into these direction and length and stuff like that. But in the end, if you just want to make a simple, fast carpet to use in your Archivist scenes, this takes only a few minutes, and it's amazing. And the good thing about this is you can actually just save this into your model bank, import it to your scene, copy these modifier and apply it to basically anything. You can add this carpet preset to any shape that you want. So it's super easy. So for the sake of it, let's just render this first as a little promo image. And also, though that we're actually having 6 million hairs, it renders really fast. I mean, this is just 1 minute into this render, and it's already looking really good. All right, let's try the other textures. So let's go in here and just replace this with carpet number 2. Looks pretty good already. Now, what you might want to do, because now you have a dark texture in the translucence, so maybe you want to increase that to maybe not actually. Looks pretty good too. Now you can see that it looks a bit more like, you know, fake grass. So if you want to have a dark carpet like this, maybe you want to play around a little bit with, you know, these values. Maybe, I don't know, play with this, maybe do that thicker, see what happens. So it looks a little bit better, I think. I would definitely be happy with this result. So I'm gonna render this image as well and then try the third carpet. All right, looking good. Let's try the third one. This is so cool. Just so easy to make different carpets. Now this is actually the wrong kind of carpet, because if you look at this texture, it's one of these like knitted, or I don't know whatever they're called. So it shouldn't really look like this. Maybe you could like use this as a texture, like make it black and white and then play with it and use it as a texture to control the bending and the clumping and stuff to make it look more like this carpet. But I mean, just being able to add whatever texture you want like this is really nice. So that was it. Of course, I will play around more with fur and do, you know, for other use cases, and I encourage you to play around with it as well, because it's like it's really fun and really useful. Yeah, I hope this video was useful for you guys. If it wasn't, well, too bad, but that just means that you already figured this shit out, which I'm happy for. So anyway, see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and bye.